put air back into the tires. I've never been able to figure out how that happens, Joseph.
They got an onboard air pump.
That took a little bit of effort. And the next thing we have is the Red Cross. And of course, the Red Cross has been supporting our military veterans since 1881. Thank you so much.
Oop, is this
Helping
your
to
guys?
prevent the. Okay.
Man, I've got to tell you, Lee.
Go ahead.
That looked like a bunch of kids going by there.
That was Tango Company of the 266th Quartermaster Battalion, 23rd Quartermaster Brigade. And thank them for their participation.
We sure do.
And what do we have next? We have the Tucker Towing Company.
Yep.
And we appreciate them. It's a family-owned business nestled in Hopewell, and it's veteran-friendly. They would like to thank all veterans for their service. And we have a group that was with us this morning at the cemetery. They have the flag that's behind us, and here you see the fire chief and the fire trucks. Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. All right.
Man, those trucks look sharp, don't they?
They sure do. And of course, a big part of fire prevention is helping people in time of stress. And of course, that includes an ambulance.
Right.
When I was little, my dad told me always look out for cops so I could tell him when he was speeding. We were sitting in a cafe and an ambulance pulled up. And I said, "Daddy, there's a cop." Everybody in the place thought he was a robber.
Oh man, this is my daughter and son-in-law
are in the Air Force. Mm-hmm. Well, this is the 345th Training Squadron led by Staff Sergeant Galvez. This squadron consists of 3 different jobs: air transportation, travel management, and services. They come here after BMT to learn their specific jobs before heading out to do their jobs in the field. And right now they're at Fort Lee. All right.
I think he's got your car, Lee.
That's Randy Wise, resident of Hopewell, and he lives in City Point driving a 21 Ford T Bucket Roadster.
Cool, man.
With him is his dad, Bill Wise, who served in Army during the Korean era. He proudly served for the 2nd Armored Division, Hell on Wheels. Bill Wise is also a member of the American Legion. And this is the Riverside Regional Color Guard. And if you were at the cemetery this morning, you know that they provided our color guard services for us.
Torch run for Special Olympics.
Okay.
They're all part of the
and
gym.
now there's a group, Billy Slusher is involved with a group of people with old cars. And this one, these are oldies. This is Bruce, Army veteran, 1953 Ford. Then we've got a Ford Coupe. And then we've got Robert Ellis. I've got him out of order here. I know that.
There's a nice 68
I used to have one of those.
I had a 69.
Is that's the Bonneville?
Nope, no Bonneville.
Yes.
Not here. It's a Falcon.
That's a Comet, isn't it?
It's a Falcon. Looks like a Comet.
Okay. Give me some help here. I'm too old to remember all these cars.
You need a lot of help. Man. Here's an El Camino. You know what that is, right?
I know that very well. And that's a really tricked out El Camino.
It sure is, man.
Thanks, guys. That's a nice car. Thank you. All right.
What is that, a 37
That's
Ford?
awesome.
I'm not sure.
And here's the WHAP train.
That's right.
I was raised in a train car, so I really love this.
Hey, that's all the Wonder Babies on there.
Oh, there they are. I see them. Thank you for being here.
Man. Okay, what do we got coming?
This is, I hate to say I have a favorite Girl Scout troop, but I might have to come close to that. My dear friends, Teresa Parker and her husband, Ronnie, are the driving force in Troop 585, and they love their vets. And I can't tell you how much we appreciate them at Memorial Day when they're out there helping us put up the flags on the graves and help us take them down. So ladies, thank you very much for participating. It means a great deal. And there's one of the twirlers, and she's doing an awesome job. Keep it up.
All right, guys, as these folks are riding by, we just want to remind you that we are broadcasting
and there's
live
the rest of all right.
on WHAP.
Hi, Teresa.
Okay.
Thank you guys for joining us today. If you're listening on WHAP, we are at the Hopewell Veterans Day Parade, and it's an honor to be here today. Who's up next, Lee?
Okay, this is one of our World War II vets that faithfully comes to our activities. That's Tom Blount, and I believe he was the mayor of Hopewell at one time. Yeah, all you other people are too young to remember when he was mayor, regardless.
64 Impala SS.
And here's a fella coming up behind, Robert Shaw, and he was in the Army Air Corps in World War II, and he's in a car that's driven by a very dear friend of mine, Larry Pee Wee Sprague, in his convertible. All right. Here we go.
Oh, man, what do we got?
All right. There's John Holberg. He's our chaplain at the VFW. And he's on the float. And there's some of the people from the VFW. We appreciate it. All right. And there's the husband of Kara Buckley, Jeremy. All right, kids. Miss Buddy Poppy. You know, both the VFW and the American Legion hand out Buddy Poppies because we buy them from the national organization, and that money goes to help people who have service disability. That's the one. No, this is that's Jim Gallagher right there, and I can tell you that he is that's
a great hat.
Instructor pilot. He flew C-5As out of Dover. This is the Marine Corps.
Yep, sharp-looking group.
Look how sharp they look.
Yeah.
I was trying to. Up next are the. These Marines are learning their trades in a variety of areas ranging from small arms repair to light armored vehicle maintenance, depending on their occupational specialty. And it was led by Chief Warrant Officer 3, David Bruce. And there's Shane Cooper in a car that just has new wheels on it. And look on the back, they just had that fabricated. Thank you, veterans. You know, Omni Financial is a huge supporter of the VFW. They helped with our burn pit and with a lot of things. So thank you, Omni Financial.
Here comes.
All right. There he is.
61 or 62 Bonneville.
Yes. Nice car.
And I think
I
it's
remember
a
when
67
Mustangs
Mustang.
came out the first time. Yay. Now, I don't remember when this car came out the first time. That's before my time.
Are you sure it's like, what, 47?
No, they couldn't all get in it, so they got broke up. Okay, but this is Ford F-100 Bruce Vachino.
Nice truck.
Okay, here we have the Virginia Patriots Guard, founded in 2005. As membership has grown, so has the scope of their mission. They honor first responders as well as military veterans. Additionally, they have help on the home front programs. Delta Company, 16 Ordnance Battalion, 59th Ordnance Brigade of Fort Lee. Those troops are here training to become wheeled vehicle mechanics, 91 Bravos, in the United States Army. They're here for 11 weeks.
Yep.
Here is the Old Dominion Historical Fire Society. That's a 1921 Rio pumper driven by Gary Horman, who is an Air Force veteran.
All right.
All right.
You remember when
And
those
they
things
have
were new,
several.
don't you,
I think
Reverend?
they have six. They have six separate vehicles.
Manchester.
Yeah. Two from Virginia, from Chesterfield.
Yep.
That's the third one, and there's three more to come. City of Colonial Heights.
Colonial Heights. All right.
All right, that's an old one.
Yeah, man.
Mack Truck. Look at the dog up, the bulldog up on the nose,
Oh, yeah.
and there's a Mack truck.
Yep. But no nose.
Yes, it is. It looks like a dog. Okay. Yeah, I think here we have the Hopewell High School Key Club with help from the Hopewell Kiwanis.
All right.
The Key Club is an international student-led organization providing members with opportunities to provide service, build character, and develop leadership. And the Kiwanis is having a wine festival soon. What is that? I missed that.
Man, some nice rides went going by.
That was the Legion Riders.
Yep.
And there are some more of the Legion Riders.
All right.
And there's some.
Where's their
Hello,
motorcycle?
Jack. Hello, ladies. That's awesome. There's Kenny.
Oh, man.
And there's a float with more Legion Riders.
Yeah.
And they have a POW MIA table right there at the back, which is really important.
All right, here we go.
Both the VFW and the American Legion have POW MIA tables. And that's to remember those guys that never made it home and that were left behind.
All righty. Boy, that'll wake you up.
Yep.
We did that to see if everybody was awake.
I think
so
they are.
that nears the end of the parade. It looks like.
It does.
It does, but we are broadcasting on WHAP, and want to talk a little bit about what's happened today with you guys. The VFW and the American Legion went out today, and you celebrated Veterans Day at the National Cemetery.
That's right. We sure did.
Thank y'all.
And then,
Just for those that want to understand the relationship, the VFW takes the lead for Memorial Day, and the American Legion takes the lead for Veterans Day. So we helped the American Legion today, and of course it was an important day, being 100 years at the end of the war. And we had a wonderful turnout, and our guest speaker was an enactor dressed up in World War I uniform, and he provided in-depth discussion about 3 of the heroes from World War I. So
I didn't get to see it.
you didn't get to see it.
You didn't. It was a great service.
Yes,
it was a
it
wonderful
was.
service. And I've heard that guy. He does a lot of different roles of different types of soldiers where he'll act them out. I've heard he does a wonderful job.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Now we want to remind people that after the parade today, later on the services, they do not stop here.
No,
the
they don't.
celebration doesn't stop here. There will be a free concert
Absolutely.
at the Beacon Theater tonight at 7 o'clock.
That's true.
So you
And,
want to.
and in the concert, there'll be 3 entities. And the first one is a group of ladies who go by the name of the Sweet Adelines. And it's a national organization, but they are a ladies' barbershop quartet. And the next will be a bagpiper. And the final one will be a Chesterfield concert band that will play patriotic music. So we're looking forward to a really nice time at 7 o'clock, and we urge all people that are interested to come out, and I believe there'll be lots of tickets left over for anyone that cares to listen to the music,
To the concert. Okay.
to the concert.
Where do they get the tickets at?
Well, I think you can, at this juncture, the easiest way is just to go there and enjoy it. I think there'll be tickets available. I don't think they'll turn away anybody simply because they don't have a. This isn't a Rolling Stone concert.
Oh man, okay.
Well,
Actually-
man, you should advertise it that way. You'll get a bigger turnout.
To
Yes,
tell you
sir.
the truth, as old as the Rolling Stones are, they probably would draw about the same number of people.
You got anything to say about that, RokkinRik? Well, we're folks, come on out for that. That's going to be great this afternoon. And in December at the cemetery, they lay wreaths on the cemetery.
They sure
right?
do.
So
And
who typically does that?
it's a combination of the American Legion, and actually there's a group called Wreaths Across America.
Right.
And both the VFW and the American Legion fund some of the wreaths. They're not free, so some of
Oh,
those
okay.
wreaths are paid for. But let me tell you a little bit about someone who was there this morning at the cemetery. He's a very, very good friend of mine, and his name is C.D. Jackson. And his real name is Cecil Darling Jackson, and so he goes by the name of Butch Jackson. And he was shot in the knee in in Vietnam, and eventually he lost his leg. And he's a tough fighter, and he is always in there. But when he was a child, there was something called the Avenue of Flags at the cemetery. And this morning, anyone that saw the two commanders take out the wreath to the to the circle out there, the monument, what he wants to do is to bring back the flags. And he just 2 days ago got permission to have the flags installed, so that these are the flags that were on coffins.
Oh, wow.
The flags that are on coffins are 5 foot by 9 foot. They're huge flags. And they're like 20-foot poles that the cemetery has. And we're going to help him put the holders in the soil in the right locations, so that there will be a path
Oh,
of
wow.
and the
That'll be
goal
nice.
is to do that for the wreaths. So the first time would be wreaths
Across America.
across America.
Wow.
Our goal originally was to do it for Veterans Day, but as it turned out, we weren't able to. So that's what we're hoping to, is to have this avenue of flags put up there. And if it works, he remembers it. I wasn't around here, but he remembers it vividly. And he knows that it was very important, and we'd like to bring that back. And he's a true patriot, and I think the world of him. And he has his hands full with some of his challenges. He got air-evac'd out on the 12th of November. So Veterans Day is a day that he has very mixed feelings about because of the seriousness of his injury. But he's been a lifelong fighter, and he's not going away anytime soon. And anyhow, that's what's going to happen at Wreaths of America.
That's nice. That's the motorcycle groups that we usually deal with. A lot of them come out and participate for that, and they'll ride to do the Wreaths Across America.
I know.
It's a big thing.
Yes, it is. And what strikes me is how quickly they put the wreaths on all the graves. I mean,
They get it done.
They get it done,
They
because
get it
there's a
done.
lot of them there deploying that. That's exactly right.
Well, I believe that
Well, this is Butch Omer coming up here. It's his third trip out here, so I'm figuring he wants to be interviewed.
Not really.
Butch was in the Coast Guard. I'm joking. He was in the Marines, and he is about as die-hard Marine as exists in Hopewell. Anyhow, but now he works for the post office at Fort Lee, and he keeps the Fort Lee soldiers straight there. But he was in Vietnam. I was going to say with me. We were there at the same time, but I never knew him over there. And
That's because I was living in the woods.
he was living in the I was living in a what's called a sea hut. A sea hut is Southeast Asia hut, and it's halfway up was louvers, and then the rest was anyhow, it was screen, like screen doors. And it had a extra long side on as far as the roof was concerned to keep some of the rain out. And so I lived at the bottom of a mountain and I worked at the top of the mountain. So I was in the Air Force, but I didn't have air-conditioned quarters, and we had what was called real latrines, you know.
You know what I used to always think was really entertaining. When I was younger, my dad was a World War II vet
Yes.
in the Navy, and everybody up and down the street were different branches of service.
Right.
Whenever we get together, those old guys would give each other such a really hard time. If you didn't know them, you would think that they hated each other, but those guys really loved each other.
Yeah, they did. That's right.
The Navy guy picking on Marine guys,
That's right.
especially. Oh, it's hilarious, and vice versa. Man, I used to just sit back and love hearing all those stories, and then just them picking on each other.
And there's lots of Facebook private groups, some of which have all of the services together and some that don't. So, but those that have them all together, they pick on each other, but it's all.
Oh, it's really funny. But they loved each other.
They do.
Because they couldn't have done without the other,
So he was in World War II.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about him if we have time.
Okay.
And did he serve in the Pacific or the?
Yeah, in the Pacific.
In the Pacific.
Yeah.
And we were talking. This is your dad was on the bowfin.
Yes, on the fin back. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. We'll talk a little bit about that, and then I'll add something.
Yeah. I guess he hadn't been on the ship too long, but one of the things he remembers the most, and you can see it as actual film footage of it.
Yes.
Was they picked up President Bush out of the drink after he had to ditch his plane.
That's right.
And it's amazing because I can see my dad in that old video clip. I can see him on the deck of that ship.
That's right.
With his out of uniform and everything. Typically, it's
so everyone knows about Iwo Jima, but few people know about Chichi-Jima. And Chichi-Jima is what Bush was bombing. It had a communications facility on it, and we spent a lot of time trying to drop bombs on that communications facility. And that's where Bush was when he was shot down.
Right.
And he ended up in a lifeboat, and a rubber lifeboat. And I was there for a little while, and then all of a sudden, your dad's submarine surfaced.
Yeah, pops up.
And popped up and took him on board and took him down. And years later, they talked to Japanese soldiers, and they said, we knew that we were going to lose the war when this happened, because any country that would send a submarine to pick up one down flyer, they cared about their people. Let me tell you another story about, I only know this because of Bradley wrote the book called Butch? Flags of Our Fathers.
Okay.
Flags of Our Fathers.
Right.
What's the book about? It's about Iwo Jima.
The Japanese flag.
No, the American flag. And a great deal of analysis went into the names of the people who were holding that flag when the picture was taken.
Right.
And it resulted in an entire book being written about that. And Bradley then wrote a book called Flyboys, about Chichi-Jima. Well, what happened was a number of POWs were captured. Americans were captured and kept at Chichi-Jima. And one of them was working in a radio facility and became extremely good friends with Japanese and American became very good friends. But there was a major who didn't like that relationship. And finally one day, he, hold on just a second. Patricia, hello? Where are you going? Well, don't go yet. We're almost done. Patricia is niece of Flugie Moore. Does anybody that's lived here a long time and knows Dr. Floyd Moore, the dentist?
Yes.
Well, that's his niece.
Oh, okay. All right.
And my wife and I are very good friends with Flugie, and his wife's name is Harvey. So anyhow, I interrupted her trip, but I wanted to tell you that what happened was one day, I need to be blunt about this. They were conducting cannibalism on American POWs. And this Japanese that worked at the radio facility did not want this to occur to his friend. But there was nothing that he could do to stop it. And one day he went someplace, and when he came back, his friend was gone. And that's what they had done to his friend. And the reason that they did it was that when the Japanese were in, was it Manchuria? Where were they?
They were in Manchuria in 1939.
In Manchuria, they were of the belief that if you ate the liver of your warrior enemy, you gained his strength.
Right. Yep.
So what happened was, that's what happened to this fella. Well, when Bradley was doing the research on the book, I wish I could remember the name of the fella who lost his life. I'm going to call it Warren, just for that. Well, he called up and eventually ended up getting a hold of the Japanese man who ran the radio facility. And when he answered the phone, he said, "This is Warren." And Bradley talked to him. And it turns out that he had changed his name after the war to match that of his friend that was taken away and killed.
Oh, that's neat.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That really is.
I just want to thank all the sailors, soldiers, airmen, and coasties supporting us while we fought the war.
Okay, that's fine. See you later. You ready to end it?
I think so. All right, guys. Well, we are going to end that here. We've enjoyed our time, WHAP being here, being a part of this parade. It's been a great day. We had, just so everyone knows, we had our very own Reverend Joseph Booth with us today. Lee Dixon of the VFW talked about the parade, and RokkinRik was here along with me, the WonderChick.
Yep.
And we're very honored that we could be a part of this today. And we did go live Facebook, so if you didn't get to see the parade, you can check it out on Facebook. And then just tune in during the week for our regular shows on WHAP. The Reverend Booth has a show.
Yes, A Step Above Wealth, every Thursday and Friday, 11:30 to 12:30, where I give wealth concepts, ideas about success, and how to improve your life, your family, and your business.
All right, so you want to tune into that. And then RokkinRik has a show every Wednesday and Friday.
Yep. It's Kickstart Radio, and we just do a little bit of talking about Jesus, and we play some good music, and that's about it.
All right. Well, you guys stay tuned into WHAP for all the great things we have going on. And again, thanks so much for letting us be a part of this day.
And God bless all you veterans out there.
Absolutely.
And we thank you for your service, and we thank those that have not yet served but will one day.
And for those who sacrificed all.
That's right.
Absolutely. And the families. They talked about that this morning at the service, that the families don't always get recognized.
And we want to celebrate them too. Yes, that's right.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. Have a great day. This is the WonderChick.
And the Rev.
And RokkinRik.
Goodbye.
Tuning out.